Hiya. Hope your day's going well. I'm putting together a course on Udemy as basically how to plan ahead, so help you grow your business. And it's July the 12th, and schools break up soon. And I know when I was in the early days of tutoring, the summer was a pain because although the kids were obviously a lot younger then and it gave you time to be with them, by the other school, you've kind of like mapped out your budget for the months ahead. And you can, okay, so I've got X number of hours this week. That means I'll earn X amount. All's good. You budget accordingly. And then it gets towards the holidays, and parents kind of like go, we'll cancel for the holidays if that's okay. We'll start again in September. Yeah, that's fine. Have a lovely summer. And you mean it. You want them to have a lovely summer, and you don't you understand that their kids probably don't want to be having lessons 52 weeks a year. But now you're kind of like thinking, okay, so that week I'm going to earn, or for those 6 weeks, I'm going to earn that much less. Okay. So I've got to try and fill that. And then you work with children who are doing exams, and it gets to the end of the exams season. And again, your hours are suddenly getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And you can, okay, what do I do? Because although the work's not coming in, your expenses are still going out. And so it's hard. It is really hard. I mean, it's got a lot easier over the years because now we generally have a waiting list, and because we're better known now, there's very often people ring up and kind of like say, "We're just looking for help for the summer holidays." Okay, fine, we can help. But it is hard over the summer months. So basically, as part of this course, what I've been doing is one of the things I've done is kind of like planning for the summer slump, and I just wanted to share some of the ideas that I've suggested in there. One of them is a few years ago we did, I call it tutoring for charity. It's a fair few years ago now. And what I did was I allocated 12 hours for and explaining this at all well. What I did was I found an office space that we could hire for free, and I said, okay, for those 3 days, um, I would basically do tutoring, but please don't pay me, give the donation to charity instead. So I put it on the radio that this was something we were doing, and I think if I remember rightly, it was on the local paper, and I also had it on the Facebook page. And the intention at the time was to try and help raise money for charity. But I also found that by getting it in the radio, getting it in the newspaper, there were a lot of people that couldn't make it for those 3 days, but it built brand awareness. And so people who had never heard of us before suddenly were aware of the business. And it gave the business a bit of a nudge that it needed to kind of like, must be a fair few years ago actually, because Jamie and Angel are still at home. So it's going back a while, but it gave the business the nudge that it needed at that time to kind of like get something happening over the summer months. But other things, hang on, let me do my ideas I wrote down. That was one of them. Um, you can use the time kind of like say, okay, I accept the fact that I don't have as much work over the coming weeks. So how can I use this time? And what I can do is I can learn more. I can create new resources. Is there anything that I need, going back to learning more, is there anything that I need to expand my knowledge on? So for example, if I'm supporting um I don't know, and whatever, can I do it with confidence, or is it something that if I was to practice more over the summer, I could do it better? Or is it I'm working with a child who has, I don't know, dyslexia? Is there more I could learn about dyslexia to try and support this child? I'm working with a child that ABC, whatever. Is there more I could do to support this child, whether it's with the curriculum that they're studying? Maybe if you're doing English literature, you could reread Macbeth or Romeo and Juliet or An Inspector Calls or whatever the book is that they're studying at your local school, and can I just refresh your memory rather than trying to blag your way through it because it's 10 years since you last read it. is there anything you can do? And as you're reading it through, are there more resources you can make, whether they're games or whether they're revision notes or whatever it is? Could you say, okay, I'm not going to be tutoring in those hours, but what I can do is still use those hours for work. So when I do go back and things pick up again in September, I'm even better prepared than what I was before. So that's something I would definitely recommend. And my brain's gone dead. I had something I was going to say then. Because the thing is, as schools do go back, especially this isn't much of a consolation if you're only just starting out now, but once your business has been running a few years, you will find that it picks up quicker and quicker and quicker. And so it means that when you do go back, you can do a better job than you've ever managed to do before because you've got new resources, you've got new knowledge, you're inspired again because you've had a break from it. Because that can be the other thing is when you're self-employed, you're or you're working as a tutor, you only get paid for the hours that you're working. And so when you're not working and you're not getting paid, suddenly you've got an issue. But so you find yourself working to try and keep the money coming in. And then suddenly you realize you're on a conveyor belt you can't get off of. And you need to try and break that cycle of just always working so that you've got the money coming in to pay the bills. Again, it gets easier as you get going because start to build up savings. But again, if you're starting from scratch, it takes time. So, but do give yourself a break. That is something which I think is probably key, more important than anything else. If you can give yourself a break, then do so. Other ideas I've done over time are when you're making these new resources, when you're expanding your knowledge, pop it onto social media, say on your Facebook page or whatever, that this is something I've learned. Is there anything that when schools go back that your kids would like help with? Ask the questions, tell people what you're doing, keep people aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it, how you're doing it, etc. So that when schools do go back, you're the one that's kind of like been in touch all summer. You're the one that's still kind of like forefront of their mind, and you're the one that they contact. If there's been people that you've which been in touch before, and for whatever reason you haven't been able to answer support them, it could be that now you can. So get back in touch with those people and kind of say, hi, wondered whether you're still looking for a tutor. If you are, then I've now got some availability if you want me to help. Create courses, and I use Udemy. That's what this course is going to be for. And I put the courses on there just to be not so ideal for kind of like tutoring unless you're doing online tutoring because a lot of these platforms are worldwide. So if you're kind of like just tutoring in your local town or whatever, it's not so deal for raising brand and awareness. But having said that, some of the courses you create, maybe it's supporting your supporting a GCSE student with algebra, supporting a child with learning French, supports how to teach, how to learn, I don't know, fractions in 10 days or whatever it is. Creating the courses, you probably with Udemy, they can like keep quite a bit because of they advertise it for you, and so they can like by the time you actually come through, it may have started off as a £20 course and you may get kind of like 50p for it, but an accumulation, it just helps when nothing's coming in. Even a pound is better than nothing. So that's another idea I'd suggest. But don't give up. It is hard work, but it does get easier over time. If you want any advice, then please do ask. Promise not a push person because I don't have the confidence for that. But when it comes to building a tutoring business, I do seem to have been able to do it. So yeah, if you want any advice, any help, please do get in touch. Message me. You'll either find me at on our Facebook page. I've got a really annoying bit of hair there. Either find us on our Facebook page, info at Clara James Tutoring, or email me at info@clarajamestutoring.co.uk, and I promise I will always do my best to help.